I show up on flight day. It was 3 corrections officers and 4 prisoners. And they didn't want a co-pilot, but they did supply an EMT, which I thought was unusual. So we show up for the flight, and they're loading the prisoners on board, and they are handcuffed and in shackles, which is a heck of a sight to see as you're getting onto an aircraft. We go through all the pre-flight processes and we load them up, and I had asked the corrections officers, who I called guards, don't call them guards, they don't like that. We asked them, could you sit facing backwards and have the prisoners sit facing forward? The corrections officers said it would be better for safety if they sat facing forward. I realized that now the guys with the guns are facing me, and that may not be a good thing because they have guns for a reason. If they start going all cowboy in the plane, I'm liable to get hit by a stray bullet. So we start up, and I look over at the EMT next to me, and I say, it's very interesting. They didn't want a co-pilot, but they provided you for the flight. Are you worried about me? He said, no, we're concerned about the prisoners. So I asked, and he says, well, it's simple. They're all terminal. So I stopped the plane cold on the taxiway. I look over at my new friend and I say, when you say terminal, do you mean they're going to die? He said, well, yes, they are. I said, imminently. He goes, oh, imminently. This might be their last transportation ever. They're going to a prison where they can die. I look back and there's one of the prisoners sitting there in the chair, and I get thinking about this and wondering, he's terminal and maybe he doesn't value life very much at this point, and what a great way to go by causing a crash in an airplane. And all he has to do is manage to break free for about 5 seconds and put those 2 hands around my neck and pull. We're climbing up. We're climbing for about 20 or 30 minutes. And I look over at my friend and he's taking a snoozer. And then I look back, much to my surprise, the prisoners, they're still fully alert and awake, and the corrections officers are all taking a nap. All of them. So I give that some thought. Well, what can I do? And so I reach down to the pressure controller and I dial it up to about top of Telluride. And everybody slowly takes a little nap. And then I turn the pressure controller back down again. They're trying to reassure me, these guys are harmless. Don't worry about it. And we have a good landing, disembark the aircraft. And I look up and there's a guy on the ramp from the receiving facility with a shotgun. And I think to myself, if these guys aren't that dangerous, why do they feel the need to have the guy with the shotgun meet the plane? That's the flight that I did as Con Air.